Well, we are live here on the channel. And if you're coming in to watch the rerun, we've got Leon, special guest from Leon's Homegrown. Now, if you love the Aussie stuff and you're a big fan of the Aussie stuff and you want to read a good true blue Aussie, then Leon's your man. And I've got him. He's waiting in the back part of this software. He's up north in Hervey Bay. He's having a bit of a break on a holiday. So he's actually come on the show, which is really nice of him because, he's having a bit of a break. Now, we might have some technical issues. It's not the best with the internet tonight. And also, we're having a mini heat wave here. So it's been a pretty hard couple of days, but we're getting through and we're here and we're battling on. So, we'll probably have it'll be a shorter show today, but we will have a chat with Leon. We'll answer a couple of questions and just say g'day. He's got a really fun channel in in Queensland, Australia, but I'll let him talk about that some more. And here we go. Let's talk to a true blue Aussie. Leon, we'll bring you on, man. Hey, dude.
Hey, how you going?
Yeah, great. Say good day to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Introduce yourself a bit, mate. Let everyone know who you are
Okay.
and a little bit about your channel and where you are right now.
No worries. Well, I'm Leon, and I've got a channel called Leon's Homegrown. So some of you may have seen that. Hopefully, subscribers here. At the moment, I'm at Hervey Bay, having a bit of a rest in the old bus. So hopefully the wind's not distorting the sound too much on everyone. And I had my channel probably about 7 years. It originally was Leon's Aquaponics and Home Garden, but I changed it to Leon's Homegrown just to be a bit more broader than the aquaponics because a lot of people just think it's too hard, which that's a story on its own. But I originally went into aquaponics because of droughts we had in Queensland for probably years, and I decided to grow in the water, which used about 10% of that. Since then, the last few years, I've been going back into the ground and just changing the way I garden, doing a lot of water harvesting, sinking water into the ground, and I garden in a lot of different methods, including swales, aquaponics, as I said, above ground, in ground, a lot of water harvesting, fruit trees and veggies, and sort of play around with everything and try to reinvent the wheel here and there to try to keep gardening in a climate that's sometimes quite harsh.
Yeah, well, you get a lot of heat. We're just talking behind the scenes, and you said, did you have a few 40-degree days just recently?
We did, yeah. I'm not sure if that's probably not like the official forecast, but from my gauge outside, that's what it's saying from my range station that my daughter brought me in there to have.
Yeah.
It's saying 42 degrees, and they've got like a bit of a shelter over them, so they're not directly in the sun either. So directly in the sun, it'd be pretty harsh. The
Can you
greenhouses would, sorry?
go on?
I was just saying the greenhouses where the aquaponics is, and I've just built another one. Normally it's about 10 degrees cooler in there. That's but water harvesting's sort of my main go-to to try to accommodate that.
Yeah. So, just can you explain sort of where you are approximately? You don't have to give the exact location, but where you are approximately in Queensland in Australia?
Yeah, I'm at a place. It's in between Gympie and Widgie, which is kind of southeast Queensland, on the border of southeast Queensland and the border of Wide Bay, Burnett area. It's for most people that don't know where Gympie is, you probably know the Sunshine Coast. So we're about probably about half an hour drive from the Sunshine Coast. So not too far from the Sunshine Coast, and probably about 40 minutes from Rainbow Beach. Everyone's probably heard of Rainbow Beach and Fraser Island. So around about
Right.
there.
So how far from Brisbane?
Brisbane now with the highway that's 2-lane all the way, 110 zone. It probably takes about an hour and a half to get to the Brisbane airport.
Yeah, so you're
Which is
north,
pretty
so you're
good.
traveling down sort of southwest to get to Brisbane. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, straight along the Bruce Highway. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so you've been like right in the storm zone lately as well. So there's been a lot of storms sort of that way. There's a few other members
Yeah.
of the hub that are actually up in sort of mid Queensland as well. We're actually not too far from where you are, and they've been getting some crazy stuff. I saw there's one of our members, Steve, and he's got a big hand and he's holding two big hailstones in one hand. They look massive, maybe 15 centimeters across. Did you get any of those?
No, the one he got, I saw that on the hub there, and one hit him in the head, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But no, they were massive. No, we only had tiny little pea size, maybe, not for very long and not very thick. We haven't had a decent hailstorm where I am, probably for about 15 years since we've had a really one. But Gympie has had them,
Yeah.
which I'm about 10 minutes from. But at where we are a lot of the storms tend to just go around us like that and join
Well,
back up.
that's lucky. So you're getting the water, but not so much the storm. We've got predictions here for storms again tomorrow night with possible hail. So I'm hoping not, because we had a little mini typhoon go through our place about 8 months ago, and it ripped a couple of trees in half and stuff. It was crazy. But anyway,
That
this
water
sort of
can be.
you're building swales, so and you've got quite a bit of land. Can you sort of are you able to explain what a swale is, so people can sort of understand about how they move and trap water?
Lost you there for a sec.
Yeah, we got you. Are you back? Did you hear what I said?
No.
So I asked if you could explain a little bit about what a swale is.
Yeah, so basically, before I'll say that, swales have been around for a long time. Permaculture's kind of grabbed that and gone with it, but it's been around way before permaculture. So basically, a lot of my designs are bits and pieces of everything. But a swale's basically, it's basically like a trench. That's instead of being a drain, it's on contour, so it's level with the ground. And then when the rain comes down, it goes into that trench, and it fills that trench up. And then after that, you can divert it to a different spot by putting basically like a drain at the end or a level seal in the middle or whatever, and go into a series of drains. And the amount of water that catches then stays there, and then it will sink into the ground. So rehydrate that groundwater that a lot of people have been tapping into with bores and stuff like that, and sort of draining that water out. And therefore it holds it. Sorry?
It's a brilliant resource if you've got land. I'm only on 800 squares here, and I've got a quarter of my area, probably only one, like a small area where I've got the fruit trees. I've swaled it,
Yeah,
and it's working amazing.
and you can use it for both. Like if, say, for example, you had like the ditch, and the water's going into it. You could have like a pipe, PVC pipe going through it, and then you could move it, like have an elbow on it, so you can move it up, so it would fill the swale up, or you could have it down so it would empty the swale. So you could use it if you're in a wet climate where you want drainage, and then you can just swivel it up, and then all of a sudden you've got a swale. Because let's face it, some wet places like Victoria, they still go through droughts at times. A lot of them just got out of that drought, sort of east or west of that area anyway. But yeah, you could use it for both things. So it's good to have a look into it, and just a lot of people want to drain the water out, and that's what's happening. They're draining it, cities, households, and they're going into the river systems, and then from there they're going into the for creeks, river systems, and then out to sea, and then they're gone, and then we go, oh geez, we've got no water. But it's all gone.
No, you're spot on there. And one of the things that I've been teaching for a while now is actually called the soil bank, where we store the water on site. And I learned that from a guy in Victoria from a long time ago when I was doing my thesis. I just can't, they call it the Potter plan. And he used to store all his water just on site. And when they had a big
Yeah.
drought there, and everyone had to get rid of all their cattle and sheep and stuff, and that he was able to keep his on because his place was still green and lush, and that opened my
Yeah.
eyes from that sort of day onwards. And then, like you said, swales have been used for quite some time, and then permaculture's taken it into the design. So yeah, I think if people want to sort of look at that a little bit more and learn how to store water on the site, because they think they've got to get rid of it, but really you just want it to actually go into the ground and just like and just be there for in times of need, right? But
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, let's move
Like you can.
into sorry, go on.
I was just saying you can dig right deep into it, but basically from my knowledge, I don't know if it's correct or not, from my research, they reckon there's only about 10% of the wetlands left in Australia. Um, and that's mainly because we want to live next to beaches and cities and rivers and stuff like that. So that wetland's basically doing the same thing as a swale. It's slowing everything down in there, and it's sinking the water when it floods the banks, like which is devastating even in your area. I'm pretty sure
Mm.
that went underwater in some of the floods, but that's nature trying to go through that flood bank, sink it into the ground, and then go. So it's going to be a problem, and if we're actually, in my belief, if we're actually doing little mini swales in people's backyards, even in the city, that's going to stop it going into them stormwater drain pipes and stop floods to a degree anyway.
Yeah. Look,
Like, yeah.
you
Mm.
make a very good, solid point, and this you can
Yeah.
look into the history of this of how we just put concrete down and divert water, and
Mm.
there's we can go right into it about too much
Yeah.
phosphate being thrown out into the lawn, and then that's going down into the creek, and then that gets washed into the nearest lake, and then you get blue-green algae outbreaks.
Yeah.
There's a million things that you can really get into that, but you know. As far as like looking at that swale option of people even in a small space of just understanding if you want the water to fall there, try and build the soil so it sort of traps and sinks in. It also sends the roots down deeper and helps the plants be stronger over time because they get a
Yeah.
deeper root system. One thing I learned in organics about really good soils that they found were grasslands that had like roots that were like 2 meters deep in some stage,
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
generally
Sure.
that area they get flooded, like you said. So it's very eye-opening. I love it learning stuff like this as well. It's something that I didn't really think of until you said that. So thanks for sharing that. Do you mind if I ask you something just about the I know you're not really doing much sort of aquaponics stuff anymore, but what type of fish did you have going when you were doing it?
Yeah, it's still going. It's still got its
Oh,
own ecosystem in there. Um, Basically, for people that don't know about it, it's got its own ecosystem in there, so that the fish gets the waste, and then from there it filters itself out to be clean water and back into the fish tank. Therefore, it's not like aquaculture where you're just breeding fish, and then you've got the waste and you've got to get rid of it and put new stuff in it. So it's its own closed loop system. Anyway, we'll get back to your question. Is Yeah, I normally have jade perch, and they're really good. They come from, I think, a river system your way. I'm pretty sure originally in New South Wales. I'm not sure exactly where, but anyway, it was a jade perch, and they ship them to America and stuff like that because they grow quite quickly. That in 9 months they can grow to plate size. I don't
wow.
normally use them to eat. They're meant to be pretty good eating. I don't normally use them for eating, and I don't pump them up with heaps of food so you can get that size real quick for 9 months. The last batch I got was 60 silver perch, and they're pretty good. They're probably nearly 2 years old now. They're not real big because I don't feed them heaps. They eat a lot of the algae on the tank and stuff like that, and then I give them food a little bit. I'm mainly um, a bit weary about like the protein in the pellets that you're putting in there. They're meant to be organic and stuff like that, but it's still man-made stuff in there. And I keep my
Yeah,
eye on the plants. And I mainly grow lettuce, so they
right.
don't really need a lot of huge amount of nutrients. And I
Mm,
also add worm cast, not worm castings, worm juice into the system. I've been doing that for quite a few years, and I've actually
Yeah.
got worms in there as well. I know you like,
Yeah.
you like your worms.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you still got it going. That's really interesting. I just want to
Yeah.
go to just talk something about your channel now for the moment, because you're
Mm.
a bit like me, where you've done a bit of diversity and a bit of change and things like that through as you're sort of growing and doing different things.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up your channel here and just pull us. This will pull us to the side here, and
Okay.
here it is, Leon's Homegrown. And if I can get this right, I'll scroll down here,
Mhm.
and you can see, yeah, this is your property here. And I like your thumbnails, mate. They're good. And if you go
Yeah.
to, so I go to the most popular video here. It says growing my own food, growing food in rural Australia. So this is one of your most popular videos in the last couple of months, and you're at 6.6 thousand views from what I can see.
Yeah.
Um, can you explain to us? I'll just go back here to where we are and bring us back on. Can you explain to us a bit about what that video is about, like growing food in the rural area?
Yeah. So can be very challenging with water. Um, one day I'll get a dam, but at the moment I haven't. So I have got a 10,000 litre tank that's just for the garden. Um, but the horses have been using that as well until he gets a bit more going down the creek, which I've actually, with my water harvesting, I've actually restored the creek and got it flowing again. So I've got water down the
Right.
creek again now, which is good because it went dry.
Okay.
And I've been there for about 25 years, and it can be struggling with water and the diversity of the actual ground in my particular area. I've gone organic. I call it organic grown, but it's not technically organic because there is treated pine in there. It's obviously
Right.
newer treated pine, so it hasn't got arsenic. It's more treated with copper. So yeah, so it's not fully organic, but organic growing ways. I mulch a lot and let stuff break down, and I grow in a lot of different ways. So I've got the fruit trees and the swales, and then I've got the raised garden beds, as you probably saw from that uh, video there. They're only sort of this high, and I've left it wide enough because I'm getting a bit older, and I've left
Yeah.
them wide enough to get the mower through. So you're not having to worry about keep doing paths and stuff like that. So my place is a bit of a mess because the way I used to have it, I've been there for 25 years, and I had everything pretty low maintenance. All the garden edges, I've always grown stuff like plants and
Yeah.
that, but all the garden edges were like rocks, and they sort of went around that you could get the ride on around it and just do it all nice and quickly. But the way I've got it now with gardens everywhere and obstacles, all I've done is made myself a bit more work until I get everything
Yeah.
lined back up. Yeah, and a lot of gardeners face that problem. And my channel's more about encouraging people. Like you see the bad and you see the good, and you sometimes just
Mm.
go, "Wow, Leon's growing heaps of stuff," and then, or well, why is Leon growing that this time of year? But I can grow it. I grow all year round, and I'm not scared to try it. And the main thing is,
Mm.
just I think if anyone's just starting out, just put a bale of hay down or go to Marty's channel for starters and learn how to build up your soil even better. But put a bale of hay down, bit of blood and bone on it. Just let it sit there. They'll kill the weeds. The weeds will rot down into the soil and help it out. And when
Yeah.
you're ready, just go and throw some seeds. Start something easy to grow. Beans is easy.
Yeah.
Capsicum can be easy, but yeah, just give it a go. That's what I try to encourage people. Just they see my place and they can see that it's not perfect. And most people's aren't perfect. Like a lot of people tend to just show that one area. I tend to probably do too many tours on my property and showing everyone everything. But the people who've been watching it, they can see what it was and what it is
No,
now.
it's the realities.
And
The real's good, because we're all
yeah,
coming through different struggles and things like that. I've been talking about how my tomatoes just all nearly died because of the blight, and
yeah,
I was raving on how great they were only a month earlier. You know,
yeah.
so,
It
we
can
go
happen.
through
Yeah,
these shifts. It's just a part of it all, and it's never going to be perfect. But we just sort of move through, and you get some good ones, you get some bad ones. We've got some people just showing up, so I'm just going to just put some comments across first, and then we'll come again with some of the bring up some questions here. We've got a few people rolling in from the hub. There's this
I see
here.
that.
Leon's starting to really stack up the lives, and we've got
not sure who that is.
We'll go back to that one. You got an idea?
No.
LJ 2070. Yeah, not sure either. Maybe, I don't know, because
Yeah.
sometimes the names are different to the handles. And then last week we had Kayleen on from Urban Homestead Artists. So if you didn't see that, you can go back and
Yeah,
watch.
she's doing a fantastic job there.
Yeah, I think we're going to have you guys on a show together in the near future. We'll just see how it goes, and it'll be my first sort of like double show sort of here, and we'll see how that goes. See, that could be a bit of fun. We've got a question here. Hang on a second. Did you get much rain from the storms? I think we sort of covered that. Hello.
I've been getting probably on an average of about 20 mil per week for the last few weeks. And if my whole property was grass was just dead, and everything was struggling after I come back from Victoria, which was green, and that was probably about 6-8 weeks of no rain. And now it's gone back to a cycle there. All the people in Victoria, we actually subtropical Queensland, New South Wales, probably similar. I'd say Marty will be able to answer that. We get all our rain in summer, so we get heat as well, but we get all our rain in summer, and most of the time we get lots of it, all at the same time in like 5, 10, 20 minutes or something. And then
it can really pour down. I think we've already answered this question from Kayleen at Urban Homestead about harvesting water, pretty much with the swales. Is that what would that be right?
Well, actually, the way I've done it is it comes up from my top area, which I've recently excavated, and all the water that's coming up through there goes down into a gutter system, which is still yet to be put some stones and stuff in there, fine tuning it. From there, it goes into IBC or IPC, the yeah, and then from there it goes into the top of that, which I've dug into the ground. And if you've got to dig a hole that deep, just make sure you're fit. Anyway, from there it fills up. So the idea of that was to have the valve at the bottom. When we have dry times, I can release that into the swale system. Anyway, so it fills that up, keeps that full, and then overflows down into another gutter system, which goes into like a level seal, which meaning like something flat, and then it spills over and slows the water down. From there, it goes into a pond, and the pond I've turned into like a water feature, so it will fill that pond up and then go through PVC pipe.
We lost Leon for a second there, but he'll be back. He'll be back. We'll just go through and a couple of questions while we're waiting for him. Let's say Gympie is famous here for the gold mining museum. Yeah. We lost you there for a little bit there, mate. So I just started going into some questions. I wasn't sure when you'd be back. But...
Just quickly finish that. I'll try not to ramble on too much. People that know me know I can talk a bit. So basically, it goes to the 2-pond system, becomes like a bit of a water feature and a picnic area and a flower bed. And then from there, it goes into the rest of the swale system. Basically, the idea is to slow the water down as it's coming through and then directing it to where you are, filling it up, and then overflowing into the next one. So, yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah. No, look. It's we've only spoken a couple of times, like just because we've met recently. You're a member of the hub there, and and just by coming on this interview, I'm getting to know you much better and what you're doing. And I think that's brilliant, mate. That all sounds really smart. Good water management to me. And I'm right into water management.
It's hard to explain, and then
hopefully we don't have too many dropouts with the thing here, but we'll keep on rolling on.
Can you hear me again?
Yeah, we've got you.
Yeah, it's one that probably should be the most popular video that shows how it works. Is one called from floods to droughts. And that one there, I start at the back of the property where it's actually flooding, the creek, and then I walk back up through the swale systems, and you can see how it's all flowing. That would be a good one for people to watch to sort of see exactly what I'm talking about. It just gets a bit complicated. People can't quite understand what I'm trying to say. So that video
What's
is
it called
pretty
again?
good at from floods to drought.
Floods to drought. Okay, so you go across to
Yeah,
Leon's channel here. We'll just show
you might be
quickly
able to pull it up.
again.
Yeah,
Floods to drought, and let's just see if we can find it here on your floods to drought. I don't know if hopefully it comes up, or it just does a search on your. Oh no, I think I'm doing this wrong somehow. There's other content here. We'll just go
yeah.
back.
If you just scroll down, you should be able to find it pretty quickly. I haven't got my hat
I'll
on.
have another look. I was in the wrong search. I will find it right now. I'm in the right one.
There we
Here
go.
we go.
Restoring the lands, the thumbnail there.
Yeah,
From
restoring the
floods.
land, floods to drought, resistance with swales.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
and
you
look,
watch that one there,
you've got
I
the
walk
shaved
back. I
melon
walk
there too,
backwards.
mate.
Sorry.
You got the shaved head there too, dude.
Yeah, my hair's really thick, so I went from long hair to probably 30 years ago to skinhead now. Comes off, grows.
Yeah,
Save
fair
myself
enough.
a
But it's so
fortune.
hot, man. You get rid of all that
Yeah, well,
mop, right?
I done it when I first come to Queensland. Yeah, but that one there's yeah, it shows you basically where that water's going. Yeah, and that whole paddock right up to the house, even all them garden beds there has been underwater. Yeah, and then straight from that, people screaming that they're in a drought. It's crazy.
Yeah, look, I think you've got a very interesting story to tell, and
Mm,
I I think the value of like understanding and teaching people about sort of how to store that water and direct it and everything on site. Once you've sort of got it going, and then you're like, well, this is where I started. This is where the idea come up, and then I just started implementing it, and this is where we're
yeah,
sort of at now. What I really like is, like you could go on about swales for ages, but the direction of sort of moving water and then letting it sit, because people don't realize, like if you've got a good system going where you're actually saving the water on site, you don't even have to, even if you've got a minimal rainfall, a lot of the time you won't have to water parts of that garden. A really good
yeah,
example is a friend of mine is a permaculture. He's on a big hill, and I mention his name sometimes in the hub because people want worms, compost worms, and I learn a lot from him. We mentor each other, actually. It's really interesting. He regards me as a mentor, and I regard him as a mentor, and we're still
hmm
deciding who the mentor is. But
yeah,
I've
yeah.
learned
Well,
heaps from him.
you can learn stuff from people like you'll be surprised even with the hub, the community hub there.
Yeah.
It's just amazing what people ask you, or just ask a question and you go, "Hey, I know the answer to that," but you wouldn't even think that you know. You wouldn't even think about telling someone about it. And you know, people, all sorts of people, different levels of gardening. As I said in the last video,
Mm.
can learn something from anyone, and that community that you've got going there is just fantastic. And I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying it. I'm learning a lot, and probably talking too much in there, but no
No,
one's told
no,
me to
no,
shut up yet.
you're doing good, man. It's all about just connecting, and I don't think you can overdo it. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of, it's all about just being happy and having a good time in there. And if you're having a good
Yeah,
time and you're enjoying it and you're getting a lot of value out of it, then man, yeah, there's no such thing as overdoing it. I
mm.
Getting back to my friend Permy Pete, he's on a
Yeah.
big
Sorry.
hill, and no, it's okay. We're just having a chat. So he's got like he does a lot of stuff with earth moving, and he's off grid, totally off grid at the back of on the western in the sort of hinterland of Taree, and I'd like to go to his place because I haven't been there for about 4 years now. But at the bottom, he's got all these little dams on the way down. At the bottom, he's got one big dam, and he goes down with his kid, and they've got some little perch in there, and they fish for him and catch the perch
Yeah.
and stuff. But we were talking right at the beginning when he was putting that in about how to set up all the little wetlands around the bottom, and turn it into a
Yeah.
little ecosystem, and how you can actually go up further. So you go because the water actually sumps in the up the side of the soil as well, right? So you can come up so many feet where the water line is, and you can plant a fruit tree there, or a papaya or something like that, and it just taps into that water source. You never have to go down to water it, unless, you know, we do have droughts and things like that, so you're hoping that's not the case. But because all the water's going down to the bottom and it's storing in there, and then it's trapping in the soil around it and actually sumping back up, yeah, you know, you can really grow a lot of food, a lot of food that way. It's like the Aussie billabong, you know, the Aussie billabong is sort of like that sort of thing, you know?
That's right. But like, yeah, sinking it, you're raising that level up, and in some spots it's quite low, so it's definitely worth doing. And if you think a swale's ugly or something like that, that you're thinking, oh, I want to do it, but it might be a bit ugly in my yard, you can still fill it up. Like, you fill it up with wood chips or something like that, it'll still do the same thing. It might not hold the same amount of volume, but it will still go in there and fill it up, and I'm pretty sure they won't float away too much. And then as that wood chip rots down, you can fill up hay if you wanted to. As that stuff rots down, you can just grab it and throw it on your bed, and you got a swale there, no one even knows there.
Yeah, even fill it with sand if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But I don't think they look bad. I think they look quite fine. It's just we're so used to these manicured flat lawns with perfect, you know, hedges and all that. But look, when you're talking sort of the when you're doing that more biodiversity sort of stuff, it's just a part, you know, it's just a part of it. Let's have a look, see if we've got any more questions here, right?
Yeah.
If anyone wants to go over and check out the hub, there's a link in the description there. We're at 140 members now, which is really, really great. We're probably just about to go over that. And we've been running for just on a month. It's got there's your own affiliate system in there as well, where you can make up to 40% recurring income, which is like, can't find that anywhere that I know of, but I won't get into that too much. Abby says, here's another member. She says, I thought you were going to talk about quails. I had to do quails, yeah, because we lost a couple of quails to a snake. Yeah, but we won't get into that too much. We've got Rick says here, Leon, I've heard people use duckweed worms for fish food to avoid the artificial man-made products. Have you tried using duckweed before?
I've wanted to, but I actually haven't used the duckweed. But what I have used to do is I used to grow lettuce to seed, and I used to sprinkle a whole bed just to seeds in the bed of the aquaponics, and the lettuce just kept coming up, and I was feeding them lettuce pretty much constantly. But what you have to understand, if you are doing that, that was like in my earlier days, is that it's only a certain amount of nutrition you can do by doing that. And the worms, and I'm not sure about the duckweed, but what you need is the protein. Is what you actually need for the fish, and that most fish you'll find it's got a high protein diet, normally about
it's got
to grow
protein.
fast.
Yeah, they feed it to tilapia in the Philippines. I think it's fairly high in protein from memory, but it grows very fast. I've seen it grow, like it grows like phenomenally quick. And
the duckweed is something I probably thought about years ago, but I haven't thought about it since. So I'm glad they brought that up, because I probably will start that up again. And
let us know.
Actually do it.
Yeah, keep us in the loop on that one. I've got Will B down under says, good advice. Stagger the plants 2 to 1. 2 to 1, so the water flows through and stops soil erosion. Yeah, so there's so much you can sort of do and talk about here. And yeah, that sort of like building them sort of on, so 2 plants and then 1 behind sort of thing. So what you're doing there is what they call accelerated runoff. So if I could sort of explain that a little bit further. So say, for example, you've got a big, long, flat hill, and it's like that, and it's all just one. There's no bows in it. There's no nothing. It's just flat. So when the water hits the top and it builds up, it runs down and builds up speed. It goes faster and faster and faster and faster. As it gets picking up speed, it creates more erosion. So, you know, as you're coming down, you've got a swale and it's maybe S-snaking down or wherever it's going down. It's slowing down that speed. It's trapping in the water. And some people will plant like trees, like Will has said, and that'll also slow down that what they call accelerated erosion. So you can have accelerated erosion from wind, water, and even from sun where it's just coming through too harsh. So just something I thought that that I would sort of add in there.
Yeah, while you're mentioning that, Marty,
Yeah.
another example of that is if you have a look at some old creeks and that, and you can see the creek beds, like the one down at my place. I can stand up and almost put my hand up in it to get to the top level. Once upon a time, that would have been water level. All of that that depth that is there now is being washed away, and it's erosion, and sometimes the banks get wider. And if anyone's got grandparents, or maybe they are a grandparent already, probably someone my age that's got grandparents, because it's been happening for a while. If they
Mm.
ask them, what was that local river, if they've been living there for a long time, the local creek like, ask them that question, and they'll probably tell you that it didn't. It wasn't a big bank,
Yeah.
big hole. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that's can cause a lot of problems for a lot of people losing their topsoil for sure.
Yeah, look, it's a massive story. If you look into the history of the topsoil and erosion here and the degradation, I can't think of the actual name right at the moment for it, but basically so out west in the western part, so as far as the coast as they could sort of get away, they went in and they removed too many trees in some areas, and the trees would actually stop the water profile from coming up, and the salt was down very low, down deep. And when they
Yeah,
remove the trees, actually the salt pan then come up. And there's places in Australia that you go along the railway line, and there's people don't realise there's ghost towns in Australia where they try to start farms, and then they had these big massive droughts and things, and they just basically ruined the land.
yeah,
And because it's so salty, you can't go back there. So we learn a lot from people, this soil erosion, degradation, things like that, and implement and hopefully don't end up down that route. I had someone ask me recently, and I don't think he'd be watching this show now, but he has a big farm. I don't want to mention any names, but he had a big tree, a massive tree there. And he said, I'm going to get rid of that tree. And I said, don't get rid of that tree. He said, why? I said, because you've changed the water profile in your soil, because that tree is somehow helping the sump of the water coming up and down. And you could end up with, your water profile is very close to the river. It could change the water profile in the hill, because it was a huge big tree and he wanted that space. And it was going back to that thinking of the old ball and chain stuff when they said here in northern New
yeah,
South Wales, they said you can have as much land, it happened throughout a lot of Australia. We'll give you all the land that you can clear, because they wanted farmers, they needed production, we needed food, and we were having immigration, there was immigration and stuff, they wanted to build Australia. And so they went through here and did that. And what happened was we ended up with panthers everywhere, they
yeah,
look like a beautiful tree, but they're a weed. And they're just everywhere, man. You look in the mountains and it looks lime green, and they're just all panthers, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Uh, and luckily they did get in and hold some of the soil, but they just created sort of another problem. And we had yes, but luckily the soils are nice and deep here, and they didn't get too washed away and all that type of stuff. But they create a lot of problems by
They do, yeah, yeah,
bad water management. Hey, listen, before we head off, we've been going for about 45 minutes now.
yep.
Can you tell us about what's going to be coming up on your channel, mate? If people want to know and tune in, and
Yeah, yeah.
when you're producing videos, like are they one a week or one a month or
I try
sporadic?
to, yeah, I try to get them once a week, but sometimes they're once every 2 weeks. There was a gap
Yeah,
that was five. There was a gap once that was 5 weeks, and I got messages saying, "You all right?" Like, I better go and
yeah.
post a video. But yeah, normally once a week is my goal, and yeah. The other thing is with the actual property, what's coming up on that is I can't physically do these swales by hands anymore. I mainly wait for the
Mm,
wet season and do it while the ground's a bit wet. So I have got a little tractor, which some of my viewers would know, and I have got a plough, and the plough's basically going to be making the swales for me instead of digging them by hand. So and sometimes you need to do something to get that water into where you need it. So I won't be disturbing it too much, but it's the last third of my property. Then I'll have the whole top half of the property. At the moment, I've got 2/3 that harvest water. And this is the last third, which is actually going to be quite exciting because there's a lot of gum trees and stuff like that there. And there'll be probably probably planting a fair few because my neighbours over there are very heavily tree lined. And that's my little area that's heavily tree lined as well. Well, not as heavy as his, but yeah, so that's what's going to happen. The last third is going to be swaled to divert that water, and then there's going to be probably 2 swales in the actual paddock. And then the idea is to not let any of that water get to the creek. It all gets sunk into my ground. And hopefully have the greenest place there when if we do get a drought. So I'm preparing for it. We haven't had a drought for a long time.
It'll happen,
they come. Yeah,
Australian history. Australian history. It's like, you know, that that poem, I love a sunburned country. A land of sweeping plains.
Yeah,
you look
it
back
says
and
everything,
people ask
doesn't
me, yeah, it just speaks history, mate, and talks about, you know, these hot dries. And
well, do you remember when we had that drought? I think it's probably about
I had bushfires around my house. Yeah, and they were telling us to leave. And I was like, I won't jump the river, we're sweet. You know what I mean? Like, I was down there with my cones in the car. We're looking at it, and I was like, oh, no, the wind's going east, so it's going to head back and then head up that way. We're sweet. But they had asked us to leave. And then, you know, like, and then floods asked us to leave as well. And I thought, oh, no, we're sweet. They even knocked it on the door, just, you know, the last one. The one before that, everyone had to leave this street. But so, you know, look, Australia's known for these things, you know. And unless you really understand fire and water and stuff like that, being in sort of like the ag game like I am, I can got a bit more of an understanding than most. But a lot of people get really freaked out. And like if they're coming knocking on your door and you don't understand it, leave. You know what I mean? Just go, unless you understand fire and water really well, you know, and like really, really well. If you're unsure, even just a little bit, like we had our bags packed, and I was like, if anything happens, hon, we're out of here. And you know, for that safety thing, and we also have a kit here for a flood kit, you know, in case we get flooded in and we need food. So
good.
Be prepared.
we know it's coming. It's been all floods the last few years, but droughts can hurt people too. They can hurt the farmers, the backbone of the country. But before we do go, because it sounds like you're tired.
We can go a little bit longer yet. No, it's been quite good. I'm starting to cool down a bit. So I'll just we'll go for another 10 minutes and then we'll finish up.
I'm at Harvey Bay, so I've got my sea breeze that I've been longing for.
So jealous.
I'm inland a bit, and that's bloody hot. But we're right on, which is behind me. I've had to put this thing here to stop the wind, or else you won't be able to hear me. And I'm enjoying it. But you're probably not at the moment, are you, Marty? Your aircon's gone out.
Yeah, it's broken. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. Red lights flashing and it's coming out warm air. Not happy.
No.
But you know, it's okay. I grew up without air conditioning, so you know, it's just you get softer as you get older. Anyway, it's all good. What I wanted to ask you about was, do you ever, like when you're doing your aquaponic stuff? We spoke about this today, and you said you put worms in there because the compost worms go in and eat the old roots. And the early days of aquaponics, they were digging everything up and cleaning it and removing the clay pebbles and then getting it clean again and putting it through. And it was a massive job. Until someone come up with the idea and said, just put compost worms in and they'll eat all the old debris and clean it up. And it was working a treat. So do you ever see them do you think they breed in there? Have you still got numbers in there?
Well, I haven't cleaned out a bed for a long time, but I've gone a cheaper route. Instead of the clay balls, I've used the bluestone. But there is a test that you need to do with that to make sure that it's not. I'm not sure what the word is now. I can't remember. But there's stuff in there that won't make it suitable. It'll bubble and stuff like that. Anyway, I can't think of that.
Basalt, I believe. Yeah. Basalt.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, so you got to be careful that if you do go that route, but it's a lot cheaper than buying the clay balls. The clay balls are really expensive, and that's what puts a lot of people off. I've actually got
Yeah.
mine. I got the way I've got mine set up is I got one. I had two tanks, but one broke. But anyway, I got one tank, and then it goes through a swirl filter. So basically, all the fish waste, because basically it gets it from the bottom of the tank. So it gets all the fish waste from the bottom, and then it pumps it up through to the top with gravity, and then it will only go to that certain level where the water level is, and they'll stop it from emptying. Power goes out from your pump. Anyway, I'll try to do it briefly. So then it goes
Yeah.
through a filter. It goes through a filter, and that's called a swirl filter, or some people call it a solids waste. If you're really keen on the aquaponics, is Rob Bob.
Yeah. Yeah.
He does a lot of learning on that, and he'll be able to explain it to you a lot better than me. But it goes through that filter, and basically as it goes in, the water goes around and around and around, and it's got like a lid on it, so the water has to go down, and then it sucks up the clean stuff from around that. So basically collects all the solids down the bottom of this big 44 I've got. Then I've got a tap on it that I can empty it. Anyway, that collects a lot of fish waste, so it doesn't build up in your beds. The roots and stuff like that, uh, the worms eat, yeah, for sure. And I do think there is still worms alive in there, because last time I dug it up, I found worms. Like had to dig a section up because I
Mm.
needed to fix up one of the flood and drain beds. It's called a bell siphon, and that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
makes it, fills it up and then sucks it back down. But yeah, so I dug that out to repair that, and because I had a leak there, and there was worms, and I put the worms in probably about 7 years ago, and
Yeah.
I dug that up probably, that bit I had to repair I done probably about 2 years ago, and there was definitely worms, still worms in there.
Yeah,
So
okay. So they're
yeah,
moving the biology around. They're
they
helping if
do.
there's any like
Yeah,
fungal things
yeah,
going on, like wood fungi, stuff like
yeah.
that. They're dropping some
And
castings in there, helping to
you
recycle the
can
system.
do it with some people use like a seaweed solution, and worm cast, not worm cast, worm juice, and then they can actually run it without the fish.
Right.
And if you do decide to build one, just do a bit of research on it, because you need to cycle the system so it actually becomes suitable for the fish. Or else if you try to just do it and then add it there, and you'll just kill your fish. But if you know someone that's got
Yeah.
um, doing aquaponics, you can use some of their rocks or something like that to get that bacteria in there. Same as like a fish tank at home, like an aquarium, where you got to cycle it and get it all right. So it does get a bit complicated, but I've got a few different methods. I've got the flood and drain one. I've got one that's just rocks and the water level's just at one spot. That's just full of herbs. You probably saw that in the last video. Or the mint and stuff like that. That's just been a jungle growing stuff. I've got an old spa as the sump where all the water returns to, and then I've got the actual ladder from a swimming pool turned upside down as a bench, and then all the water rolls on that before it goes down to help aerate it a bit. And I put all my half dead plants there, and then I forget about them. I don't know if you saw in that video or not. There was an elderberry
Yeah.
tree. Did you see that? Well, that elderberry tree was nearly dead. So
Yeah.
I put
Yeah.
that in there to revive it, and I kind of forgot about it. Now the root system's everywhere, so I do got to get it out and cut the
Yeah.
pot out.
You, you've got a lot of work to do out there, that's for sure. Especially as a one man show most of the time. So yeah, and you're doing really like you're
Yeah,
doing great, man. You're doing great. So I
but
think people are interested in Leon's story. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to leave a link also in the description here of this video. If you're watching you've got this far all the way through and you're watching the
yeah,
rerun, and then sort of follow his channel, regarding this, building this system where he's trapping the water. I think you can get a lot of value out of that. Definitely for sure.
there's a lot. Sorry, there's a lot on the channel because it's been like 7 years, and the start was very low budget. Um, I had to learn to turn the phone around, you get the
yeah, that we
right
all.
angle. But yeah, there's ones there even from when I used to breed Sussex chickens. I think it's called
Yeah,
Sussex chickens there, and that shows me bloody teaching them how to drink and all that sort of stuff. So you'd be surprised what's on old channels. Same if you're smarty. I was strolling down your channel the other day, and I was like, geez, you've got 1,300 bloody videos. Anyway, I just started going down until I realised you could
You
get
get
like,
lost in there, man.
yeah, and just started popping in there, and it says I'd watched it, but because it's highlighted.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was yeah, no, it's amazing what you can find on people's old channels, and the same with overseas channels. Like everyone's got the same season, just different times. So if you're interested in what people are doing, yeah, just and if you think they're doing all right, go back and see what they were doing. Have a look how bad some of the gardens were, like mine. It wasn't
I
bad, I
think
suppose. It was just I just started, so there wasn't much of a garden there.
I
Yeah,
think people will with this whole, like, without getting into the whole AI rant, but I think people
yeah,
will look at this stuff more so and connect with. They'll be more choosy about who they subscribe to, and they'll actually, because they know that with interest media instead of social media, they're getting shown what their
yeah,
interest in instead of who they've chosen to subscribe to. So people will go back to the channels more, and they'll look through the database and things like that with people that they resonate with. One of the reasons why I started the hub as well is for that reason, to help connect people that are getting sort of lost in this whole world, this whole online world, and
it is.
connect
Yeah,
people together, and and they can share ideas and concepts and meet people that are closer by, and also discuss different topics and things like that. And so, as we're getting bombarded with this more information, because we've got information overload, basically everyone's trying to get our attention, right? So
yeah.
the whole time. So it's going to be so easy to create videos soon with this AI stuff. It's especially there now. So yeah, I think people are going to resonate more with
Yeah.
that. So I
And
think
it gets hard. It gets hard too. Like you probably, if you watch some of my videos, even now, even though I've been filming them, I've got, obviously nowhere near what you've got, but I've got quite a few videos, and you'll find at the start I'm sort of nervous and a bit like that, and most of the people just probably click off. They go, no, I don't want to see what he's got. But that's probably why the channel stayed a small channel. But the people that are watching, and now I can see from the analyzed stuff in there, they're the main people that are subscribed, keep watching all my videos. So to
oh,
me
that's good.
that's helpful. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think the main thing is just sort of with me, it's more of a visual diary or digital diary for what's going on in my garden journey there. It's more for myself than anyone else. I'm just bringing everyone else along, and I tell them all I'm no expert. This is what I'm
Mm,
doing. It's working or it's
mm.
not working, or hey, I invented this, like that. I don't know if you've seen the carrot video. I've never seen
No.
anyone do them like that, and I grew carrots without water, apart from rainwater. And I've tried carrots before, and I've never succeeded real well. I've still got carrots there, even though they went for that dry patch and had no water for like 6 weeks. Um, they've bounced back again.
Wow.
I've been pulling them out in my last few videos, but if you actually go to
Yeah.
the one that's titled carrots, I
Yeah.
actually invented a different way. Well, I think I invented it because I just come up in my head, and it works.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
What's the title of the video if people want to go look at it?
I think it just says. I think it might be. At a while there, I was doing "That's How" or something. So that's how you grow carrots. I think I was, and
Ah,
um, and I done it with wood chips. They've broken down a fair bit. And my idea was people putting wet towels down or people putting logs down to germinate. Obviously need yeah, that's it, carrots there, yeah. Um
planting carrots a little bit different. Listen, mate,
yeah,
I don't mean to be rude. I'm gonna pull
yeah,
up now because we've been going for an hour, and
yeah,
I'm pretty tired. So it's been
yeah, that's fair
been a
enough.
quite challenging few days. But
Yeah,
if people, yeah, check out Leon's channel. Come and meet him over at the hub as well. He's quite very active in there, as he said, and you can
yeah, for
chat with
sure.
other YouTubers in there as well. If things, I'm not sure how this Friday night thing's going to keep going, because it is quite
Yeah.
costly to run the software, but we will run live shows over in the Garden Creator Hub and do things like this as well, where they'll get stored in posts and different places and things, and really get it there. So keep an eye open. We'll probably be here next week. If you see it there
Mm.
about an hour before, then we're up and running, and I'll also announce it just before or the night day before in the Garden Creator Hub as well. Listen, mate, have a great time away. What I normally do is I let everyone say goodbye to each other. Sorry if I've missed any comments or anything like that. Bit tired, bit drained tonight, so I'm not able to move as fast as I would like. But thanks everyone for coming and showing your support. Please, say goodbye in the comments, and I'll drag them across. And something like this, and something like this. Hang on, is it going to show? Come on, where is it? Where is it? It's not showing. Can you see that? There we go.
Oh yeah, what have we got here?
Oh no, hang on. It didn't.
No, same one.
Wait up. Hang on.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, we'll just run a couple
Dee's a member there in the hub too. She's got some great stuff going on.
And Sharon there.
Yep, Sharon is too. Yep. Yeah, we've got a lot of hub people in there.
Enjoy. You might even do a bit of fishing or a bit of relaxing and all that type of stuff.
I brought the fishing rods, and I even found the old gold detector. I might find a few coins in there. Big cats, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. I haven't used it for a while.
If you catch a fish,
even I'm in Gippy.
You find any gold or you catch a fish, put a photo up in the hub. We'll share other stuff like that other than just photos. I sometimes share a photo of some of my photos that I've taken, my landscape shots, because I love that I love landscape photography and different types of photography. So please share that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, sure.
Look, enjoy the rest of your day. No regards to the missus. And
she's on a working holiday, so I've got her all set up with the laptops and that, so she's got the view of the beach. So she doesn't want to come on; she's shy. But So I got the bus. The bus has all got like a little office area in it, just in case it rains too much. And she's all set.
Oh, that's great, man. All right, well, listen, have a great time. We've lost you now anyway. You're cutting in and out.
I'm back again.
Yeah, we'll look at having you on again in the future. Like I said, we might get a couple of people on in one show, try something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And see how we go. All right.
Yeah. But thanks heaps for having me on, Marty, and anyone else in there. Just if you're in the hub already, there's a few people in there. If you're a bit shy, don't be scared to reach out and say, hey, how you going, or just Just get involved. Everyone's pretty friendly there, so no questions stupid. Everyone, just ask away.
Yeah, I think it's very
really good there for everyone.
Friendly place to be. Link in the description, anyway, guys. Or if you're watching on the TV, you can just type that in. And see you over there and at the next video on the channel, or head over, like I said, to Leon's. Link in the description of his channel. And bye for now. See you, Leon.
See you, mate. Thank you.
Have an awesome evening, man. Bye.
See ya.